Alright. Today is December 24th, 2025. Roughly about 20 or quarter to about of 7 at night. It's almost Christmas. Yeah. Love it. And I was just listening to two songs on my YouTube playlist of downloaded music that I can play offline because I pay for the YouTube service. Cool. Alright. The two songs I was listening to, the one I was just listening to is the Thong Song by Sisqó, which came out in the early 2000s. The song before that was the song of Lil Baby, The Bigger Picture. Those are only 20 years apart, government. What went wrong there? Give or take. So let's say an individual was born roughly around the time frame of the Thong Song coming out by Sisqó. They're only about 20 years old from the newer song of Lil Baby, The Bigger Picture. Dude, what the heck happened with you, government? Why? I was in this apartment the whole time, 20 years of mainly in and off my ICU deathbed with fluid buildup from my pinched nerve to my gallbladder, which was causing fluid buildup around my heart and lungs, on large doses of prednisone for about 8 years there. Figured out I just needed a chiropractor. Didn't even know it was a pinched nerve. No medical doctor would tell me I had pinched nerves. No therapist would even say, hey, why don't you try a chiropractor? Went to a chiropractor about 7-8 years ago, just before when I was probably 8 or 9 now. Because the collarbone was about 7 years. It was about 2 years before the collarbone. What went wrong with the whole scenario of this country, government? Especially seeing that that's all I've lived through in the last 20 years here in this apartment. Was off and on my deathbed at Save Your Heart there of ICU, trying to figure out what the heck is causing the fluid buildup. That was some large doses of prednisone too. I think I had a consistent, whenever I want refill of 20s or 10 milligrams, 5s milligrams, and 1s. I can just go get filled at any given time as long as I need them. That wasn't even considering the calcium with vitamin D and the other psychological, therapeutical, can't speak that word right now, I'm getting kind of medicines that the CSP program had me on for psychotic thoughts, supposedly, when it was just a pinched nerve to my cerebral brainstem, stemming all the way back from when I was 17, as the chiropractor had not wrapped up all that, but I was able to, with her saying, yeah, you got a pinched nerve to your cerebral brainstem, you got a pinched nerve to your gallbladder, which is making you seem like the fluid buildup, you got pinched nerve here, pinched nerve there, and she listed off a good 10 of them that first round of, and she was just playing more in the back, which was all stemming from when I got jumped when I was 17 for being a snitch, law-abiding citizen. That's why they jumped me. I was a snitch. Wow. But how does, from such positive music like Bubba Sparxxx and from that time era, Sisqó with the Thong Song, to Lil Baby, The Bigger Picture, 25 years later, not even. That's sad, government. We went from a superpower around that time frame too to what, second class basically now country. But yeah, pretty sad, government. Pretty sad. I guess I'll say toodle and goodbye and potentially Merry Christmas to everybody that might watch the video. Probably post it tomorrow anyway, so it's getting late and I'm getting a little tired. Merry Christmas and goodbye. And if I'm remembering correctly, the law that this part of state law is amended of was about the year of 1993 in the state of Wisconsin. And if you take in the fact that I only knew Kaya for about 6 to 9 months before this incident had happened in front of John Hunter's house in '99, just goes to reinforce the fact that it was only done because I'm a law-abiding citizen that snitches. Toodaloo. So, in conclusion of the incident in front of John Hunter's house and reflectively looking back, I'll add the reason why Brett and them thought it was legal for them to jump me was because they had roofied me months before that with a truth pill and blackout pill, which can only be given to them through actual authorities of this nation, like a mayor, FBI agent, Homeland Security, governor, or president's permission to get them out of hospitals in the safes in the hospitals to give to like a Brett McNulty. Upon which that particular time of just months before them doing that, or a year or so before, they had roofied me with that truth pill and blackout pill, causing me to say, yes, Brett and all of you, you know I'm a snitch, so jump me when I'm at some point out. Which would reflectively, as far as I can tell, be reflective of the mayor of Chippewa, especially going all the way back to me understanding with John Betcher in front of him and me talking that the mayor did not like the fact I understood that these laws are not completely or at all at that moment of which I'd be about 4 or 5 years old, and me comprehending what John was saying about the laws of our foundation compared to and of that they're communistic compared to our actual democracy. It should be of freedoms and rights. So he started roofing me several thousands of times before even 1999. Case in point, YMCA. I had my lunch pail snacks that I munched on, not even knowing I said what I said, and an individual pushed my sister into the coat hangers at the YMCA daycare, which poked her in the back of her right ear, almost penetrating her eardrum, almost causing her to go deaf. And me reflecting, I'm like 8 years old of that moment, even of then, reflecting of it, trying to figure out how did that happen. And reflecting of it these days, noticing, dude had done that a lot to me, mayor of Chippewa Falls, just to see if I'm ever committing crimes. Finding out I've never committed a crime throughout all those thousands of roofing me with the truth pill and blackout pill scenario thousands of times even before 1999 from the age of 4 or 5. And also, there's one other part here I wanted to add, which is how was everybody else like dancing, Mike Moon, and getting them to, considering that those are the 8 or so people I've ever known. Didn't have time to know anyone here. I've been on my deathbed basically, and or working, or trying to have a family situation of my own that could lead to a wife and children, which never had played out because, yeah. So it all comes back to actually the government in every angle of my life, and being law-abiding and truthful and snitching. Didn't like any of it, especially with me originally finding out and figuring right to John Betcher, hey, that ain't democracy, man, that's communism. Walking away from at that moment with him not understanding, that's why I walked away from him. Trying to move in with him at the age of just turning 18 of, and yeah. Way to go, government. Let's end it there for now. If I think of anything else, I'll try to add it to this video and to the whole compilation there, which will be posted later on today. Today's date is December 25th, 2025, roughly about 8:30 in the morning. Merry Christmas. Toodaloo. And have a wonderful Christmas. Goodbye. Today's date is December 25th, 2025, roughly about 9:30 in the morning. To fully conclusion of this collage of videos, I'll also add, I've gone through 35 years of my 43 years of mental anguish, physical pain, emotional anguish, and spiritual anguish for no reason other than being a law-abiding, snitching individual of the nation I am still a part of, from the date of my birth of September 3rd, 1982 to now, which I am 43 years old. Went through all that, and I'm still somewhat labeled by a good majority of the government especially, and those that support of them, whitewashing, mass murdering to cover up those with whitewashed individuals of innocence, like me, that are snitching on them and loving the nation of our founding documents and being more appreciative of them than our modern government, of which they are doing. 35 years out of 43, just to get the truth out. And I'll continue, if I have to, going through all that kind of mental, spiritual, emotional, and physical pain, just to continue getting the truth out there. If anyone doubts me, I've already proven I will and have, and continue to legally, just speaking of it. Thank you. Toodaloo. Today's date is December 25th, 2025, roughly about 9:30 in the morning. To fully conclusion of this collage of videos, I'll also add, I've gone through 35 years of my 43 years of mental anguish, physical pain, emotional anguish, and spiritual anguish for no reason other than being a law-abiding, snitching individual of the nation I am still a part of, from the date of my birth of September 3rd, 1982 to now, which I am 43 years old. Went through all that, and I'm still somewhat labeled by a good majority of the government especially, and those that support of them, whitewashing, mass murdering to cover up those with whitewashed individuals of innocence, like me, that are snitching on them and loving the nation of our founding documents and being more appreciative of them than our modern government, of which they are doing. 35 years out of 43, just to get the truth out. And I'll continue, if I have to, going through all that kind of mental, spiritual, emotional, and physical pain, just to continue getting the truth out there. If anyone doubts me, I've already proven I will and have, and continue to legally, just speaking of it. Thank you. Toodaloo.